The regional sales Zoom was routine until Colin interrupted me mid-slide. No offense, Leah, but women don't close whale accounts. That's just the data. Laughter erupted. A few people looked uncomfortable, but most just went along. My camera stayed on. Face neutral. Inside, I was boiling. I finished my presentation mechanically, then closed Zoom. A Slack message appeared from Kyle, a junior rep. WTF was that? I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my private prospect tracker. Healthcare tech firm. $6.3 million renewal. Final approval pending. My name is Leah Grant. The deal I closed that week ended Colin's career. 4 months earlier, I'd pitched this prospect during pipeline review. Colin dismissed it immediately. Healthcare tech? That's a ghost account. Don't waste time chasing dead leads. You're better at client retention anyway. Client retention was code for smaller accounts. Not the deals that earned promotions. I nodded like I understood. Then I pursued it anyway, completely under his radar. The prospect had contacted me after a conference. They were interested but had specific requirements. Requirements Colin would never accommodate. So I kept everything quiet. Built the relationship carefully. Told him nothing. The client made their position clear early. We had terrible experience last cycle with your competitor. Senior male executives talked over our team constantly. We're not repeating that. I listened carefully. What would make this different? The response was direct. No senior male leadership on the pitch team. We want someone who actually listens. I agreed immediately. Never mentioned it to Colin. If he knew a client specifically didn't want male executives involved, he'd either force himself in or kill the deal. Either way, I'd lose. So I kept it separate. I got them to sign an NDA early. Non-disclosure meant our conversations stayed private. Everything went through my personal work email, not the shared team address. In the CRM, I marked the account inactive. Colin checked CRM constantly, micromanaging everyone's pipeline. But inactive accounts didn't trigger attention. They looked like dead ends. Meanwhile, I was building a comprehensive proposal. Custom integration. Implementation timeline. Pricing structure. Everything they needed. I worked on it during lunch and after hours. Nobody knew I was closing the biggest deal of the quarter. Colin called me in for my quarterly review in February. Leah, you're plateauing. Great at relationships, but not leadership material. You don't have that killer instinct. I kept my face neutral. What should I focus on? He smiled. Keep nurturing existing accounts. Support the team. Play to your strengths. I thanked him and left. Then I opened a document on my personal laptop. Performance review bias, February 2nd. Wrote everything word for word. Added it to my growing file. I wasn't Colin's only target. I met another woman, Danielle, for coffee. She'd transferred out of his region months earlier. He said almost the same thing to me. Called me a steady hand, not a deal closer. I showed her my notes. Did you document it? Danielle shook her head. I was just glad to escape. I started asking around carefully. Found 2 other women. Same pattern. Same language. I documented everything. 3 women. Identical feedback. That wasn't coincidence. That was bias. The client escalated in March. Their COO emailed directly. Leah, we've completed internal review. Ready to move forward, but only with your team. No additional leadership oversight. Acceptable? I read it 3 times. This was approval. Absolutely. I'll prepare final contracts. Then I coordinated legal review without mentioning Colin anywhere. The paperwork moved through channels as standard renewal. Nothing triggering executive attention. Colin had no idea a $6 million deal was days from closing. I intended keeping it that way. Colin assigned me a new project that week. Leah, you'll co-own the Palmer account with Josh. He needs mentoring on client strategy. Josh was mediocre. Talked too much, listened too little. I smiled. Happy to help. The first meeting was predictable. Josh dominated, interrupted the client, pitched wrong features. I took detailed notes. Said almost nothing. Let him completely tank it. Afterward, the client emailed me. Any way to work with just you? I forwarded that to my personal folder. Then declined their request politely. I was building evidence. In the next team meeting, I asked Colin a question I knew he couldn't answer. Colin, can you clarify renewal clause language regarding early termination penalties? He blinked. Started answering. Stopped. That's more legal territory, Leah. I kept my tone casual. Just want to explain it correctly to clients. Colin fumbled through vague response. I saw team members glance at each other. The person they reported to didn't know basic contract terms. I smiled pleasantly. Thanks. The seed was planted. Colin wasn't as competent as he pretended. A rumor reached me through Kyle. Hey, probably shouldn't tell you this, but Colin told someone from another region you're too soft for enterprise negotiations. I kept my voice neutral. Did he say that exactly? Kyle nodded. Said you're good at relationships but don't have the edge. I thanked him. Acted unbothered. Then screenshot our Slack conversation. Time-stamped. Saved. Colin was systematically undermining me to other leaders. But he was doing it while I quietly closed his biggest deal. Mistake. I scheduled an HR meeting in early April. Not a complaint. Just documentation. I want to note some ongoing team dynamic challenges, I told the HR partner. She pulled up a form. Can you elaborate? I chose words carefully. There's been feedback that feels gendered. Comments about women's capabilities. I'm not filing formally. Just wanted it noted. She typed. I'm opening a case file. If you proceed formally later, this establishes timeline. Perfect. I had official HR timestamp now. Before my deal closed. Before Colin's career imploded. The client requested final walkthrough for Thursday, April 18th. I told Colin I was taking PTO. Personal appointment I can't reschedule. He barely looked up. Fine. Cover your accounts. Approved without question. Thursday morning, I drove to a WeWork across town. Set up in private conference room. Led a 3-hour presentation for their executive team. Walked through implementation. Answered technical questions. By 1 p.m., the COO was smiling. We're in. This is your deal, Leah. Send paperwork. I stayed professional. You'll have contracts Monday. Monday morning, I uploaded the signed letter of intent into CRM. Marked status, closed, pending signature. Added detailed notes. Attached client correspondence. Everything documented. Then I did something deliberate. Didn't notify Colin. Didn't announce it. Let the system do the talking. The VP ran reports Monday afternoon. He'd see the closed deal. See my name as sole contact. Have questions Colin couldn't answer. I worked quietly, acting normal. The explosion came at 3 p.m. The VP flagged it during executive review. Kyle told me what happened. Who closed this? The room went silent. Colin's face went pale. That's Leah's account. She was collaborating with the team. The VP frowned. CRM shows only her name. No collaborators. Colin stammered about informal collaboration. The VP didn't look convinced. Within 20 minutes, I had meeting invitation. Contract review, healthcare tech. Colin wasn't invited. I accepted immediately. Prepared my receipts. Colin tried inserting himself after the fact. Send email to executives with me CC'd. Great team effort closing healthcare tech. Leah did excellent execution, building on strategic framework we developed collaboratively. I replied within 5 minutes. Thank you. For clarity, see attached solo correspondence from January through April. Then I attached everything. 20 emails between me and the client. 0 Colin mentions. 0 collaboration. The email thread went silent. I sent complete documentation to 3 people. HR, Sales VP. Legal. Solo pitch decks. Client emails requesting no senior male executives. My original proposal. Collins, too soft, comments, time-stamped. My February review notes. Josh's failed meeting. Everything organized chronologically. Professional. Undeniable. Brief cover note. For review regarding healthcare tech contract and related workplace concerns. No emotion. Just evidence. Let facts speak. Danielle came forward 2 days later. Heard through contacts something was happening. Forwarded her complaint from last year. I stayed quiet, needing the paycheck. I regret that. If this helps, use it. She documented Collins' dismissive comments. His pattern of assigning women to support roles. Her documentation matched mine perfectly. I forwarded it to HR with permission. 2 other former team members sent similar statements. The pattern was undeniable. The company launched internal investigation Friday. Colin was pulled from active projects. Announcement went out. Leadership restructuring audit, sales division. Everyone knew. Colin sat in his office, door closed. No meetings. People whispered. I said nothing. Didn't gossip. Didn't explain. The evidence spoke. My silence was more powerful. Let Colin wonder what I'd shared. Let leadership draw conclusions. Colin made one desperate move. Requested direct client meeting to ensure smooth implementation. The COO forwarded his email to me with question mark. I replied calmly. Your contract specifies no other representative may engage without my written consent. This protects your team from the situation you wanted avoiding. Response came immediately. Perfect. Forwarding his email to your legal with our denial. Colin was locked out. The client had written contract language preventing interference. Irony was perfect. Colin was terminated the following Monday. Brief internal memo. Leadership departure. Colin Dempsey pursuing opportunities outside organization effective immediately. His calendar cleared. Slack went inactive. Email bounced. Completely erased from systems. That afternoon, legal emailed me. Leah, your professionalism throughout this matter has been noted and appreciated. Closest thing to apology I'd get. The company wouldn't admit they'd let Collins' behavior continue. But they'd removed him. Acknowledged quietly I'd been right. The company offered me Collins' position Wednesday. Regional Sales Director. His office. His team. His salary plus 30%. The VP delivered news personally. You've demonstrated exactly the leadership we need. I thanked him sincerely. Then said something unexpected. I appreciate this tremendously. But I need to decline. He looked surprised. Why? I smiled. The client created head of strategic partnerships position. They offered it last week. I accepted this morning. I'd turned down Collins' job to work for the client. The client announced my hire publicly Friday. LinkedIn post straightforward. Healthcare Tech Solutions thrilled to welcome Leah Grant as head of strategic partnerships. Leah brings exceptional client expertise and strategic vision. No mention of previous company. No mention of Colin. Just my name. My achievement. Within an hour, inbox flooded. Former colleagues congratulating. Recruiters asking about opportunities. Women I'd never met. You gave us hope. I hadn't set out inspiring anyone. Just refused being dismissed. 1 year later, I stood on stage at National Sales Leadership Summit. 300 people watching. Speaking about enterprise strategy and overcoming obstacles. I talked about persistence. Documentation. Knowing your worth. Then said something generating applause. Don't waste energy arguing with people who think you can't win. Just win. And make sure your name is on contract. Standing ovation. Women filming on phones. After, dozens waited to talk. One woman, maybe 25, said something unforgettable. I've been told I'm not aggressive enough. Your story showed me aggressive and strategic aren't the same. That evening, I posted about conference on LinkedIn. Kept it brief. Honored speaking at Sales Leadership Summit. To everyone navigating difficult workplace dynamics, document everything, trust your instinct, never let someone else define your ceiling. Post went viral. Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments. Stories from across industries. Someone screenshot Colin's old Zoom comment. Women don't close whale accounts. Posted it next to my $6 million deal announcement. The contrast stark. His dismissive certainty versus my documented success. I saved one document on my laptop. Timeline of everything. Colin's dismissal during pipeline. His "women don't close deals" comment. My quiet pursuit. Contract closure. His termination. My new position. Titled it simply, Evidence. Not revenge. Not victory. Evidence. Because that's what mattered. Not anger. Not arguments. Not convincing Colin I was capable. Just clear, undeniable, documented evidence. He'd said women don't close deals. I'd closed one, costing him everything and launching my career. That Zoom call felt like lifetime ago. The woman who'd sat silently, absorbing dismissal, had become someone different. Someone who knew exactly what she was worth. Someone with receipts to prove it. Turns out, we don't just close deals. We close chapters.